Okay, I'd like to declare this meeting of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee open. We acknowledge the Whadjuk people as the traditional owners of the Greater Fremantle-Walyalup area, and we recognise that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still important today. Thank you to all the members that are in attendance. The only apology we have to note tonight is Mr. Brad Pearce, our independent member, is not able to be with us. And no leave of absences, no disclosures of interest by members. And there are no previous public questions taken on notice, so therefore nothing to respond there. At this time, there are no public here in the chamber, so we have no questions from them. No deputations and no presentations at this point. So we'll just move on to the confirmation of minutes. So the recommendation is that we confirm the minutes of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee meeting dated 16th of March 2026. Can we have someone to move that, please? Councillor Kamada. And a seconder, please. Councillor Van Dawson. And just a vote, please, by raise of hands. Okay, that's carried. Thank you very much. So our first agenda item this evening is the Risk Roadmap Information Report, which we will take as read. So are there any questions around the risk roadmap update that members want to ask? Oh, sorry. Move that we accept the receive the risk roadmap update. Yep. Mayor Lorber, and seconder, Councillor Mofflin. So any questions or comments? Okay, are we happy to just vote on that then, please? So all in favour? Thank you, carried. The next item is the adoption of the council privacy policy, which is included in the attachments for review, and the recommendation is to adopt the council privacy policy, also noting that the Chief Executive Officer will prepare and publish an information breach policy setting out the procedures to be followed by the city in complying with Privacy and Responsible Information Sharing Act 2024 to be made publicly available. Can we have a mover for this one, please? Councillor Van Dawson, and a seconder? Councillor Slaughter. Any comments or questions? Yes.
Thank you, Ms Chair. I have a query on how the privacy training for all committees, contractors, staff and everybody everywhere will possibly be carried out and to the level that we need it to.
Thank you. Through the Chair, we have been already rolling out some sessions throughout the organisation. We've carried out 23 to date, which is about 200 employees. We do them online as well as in person. There will also be some online training as well, but we'll do some in-person training with elected members and consultants as well. So we'll do some online, a bit of a mix.
And concurrent to that, will that also apply to committees where we have external members, such as this one, obviously, but our what I'm trying to think of, the design guideline, design review panel and things like that don't have elected members?
Sure. The Privacy Act is around sharing of personal information so data that we collect and we use and so on. So if you are part of a committee where you would have access to that kind of information, then yes, absolutely. So a committee like this with external members, they would be given that kind of training. So anyone where they have access to that, we will absolutely provide that training. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other? Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, just a quick question in regards to, I suppose, the council's or the city's actions on privacy prior to the implementation of this policy, and noting that, and just to get a little bit of clarification, because at the beginning of the report we speak to two pieces of legislation which are circa 2024, but then we move on to the Privacy Act of 1988 and the like later in the officer comment, and what particularly is different about what we're doing now compared to the previous requirements that we might have had.
Thank you. Through the Chair. Previously, we've got the Freedom of Information Act, which we were going by. This new piece of legislation is a little bit more stringent, I suppose. The rolling it out to date, we've been implementing new procedures and updating all of our internal policies and procedures around how we share information with external third-party providers and things like that. And apart from that, it is to align with the state government requirements that we have at the moment, or that they have in place, where we'll be aligning with that.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Any other comments or questions? Okay, could we vote now to accept the privacy policy? All in favour? Thank you. Carried, thank you. Okay, the next item is the Local Government Management of Gifts and Benefits Performance Audit Information Report. This is a report done by the Officer of the Auditor General, which was at which Fremantle was included as part of the report. So the officer's recommendation on this is for council to receive the Local Government Management of Gifts and Benefits Performance Audit Information Report. Can we have a mover, please? Councillor Moughlin, and seconder, Councillor Kamada. Thank you. Any questions on this? The report is included in attachments, and obviously we've got the paper. Any questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you. Particularly interested in the city's response to some of the findings and the response in regards to gifts being offered and how we respond to that. And maybe if we could get an officer comment on the thoughts and inference from the OAG around why, even though there's not a regulatory requirement to report gifts that have been offered, and why they would suggest that that should be the case. And then secondly, to provide the city's position in regards to that one.
So that's what he's saying. Yeah. So the OAG report about even listing them, you don't accept them.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, through the chair. That recommendation was based on their best practice. There is no requirement for us to disclose gifts that aren't accepted. So we did contest that, I suppose. At the city, obviously, we do encourage all disclosures, but in regards to receiving a gift where you where you don't accept the gift, you don't actually have to technically record that as a gift. So that was our response. Yep.
Yes.
So just through the chair, there was a conversation with the office that probably lasted a few months where there seemed to be two sets of standards they were trying to judge us by. One was compliance with the Local Government Act and then their best practice compliance. We probably pushed back on their best practice compliance because it was an audit that was looking backwards and none of us knew about that best practice situation prior to the audit. So we probably weren't of a mind to think that to acknowledge a gift that wasn't accepted was the responsibility of an officer. There's also a requirement under the Act where you need to acknowledge a gift within a certain amount of time. I think it's 10 days, 10 business days. 10 days, yeah. And a lot of the research that the Office of the Auditor General were doing was through emails, checking our emails basically, so they could go back, review all my emails for the last 10 years and pick up when I'd been offered a gift through email. Now, I have to say, I triage my emails and I don't read all of them. So I could have been offered a bunch of gifts and not even knowing they were offered, to be fair. So to have disclosed them within a certain amount of time that I hadn't accepted them would have been quite onerous. So we sort of pushed back on that belief as well because being offered a gift doesn't really mean anything, to be fair. And we sort of use it a little bit like a purchase, that an offer and acceptance has to occur before a gift is received, so to speak. So that was probably how we pushed back on that.
I think possibly it is best practice rather than requirement, and the only reason that it may become an issue is if there's constant offers from a same person or same group that's doing it for a reason other than just offering a gift. So I guess that's, but if you're aware of that, there is no reason why you couldn't disclose that. If you got, sort of 10 offers in 2 weeks for something, you might want to disclose that. So it's just a comment, but worth thinking about that people sometimes do it for reasons other than just to give you a gift. Yep. Any other comments or questions on that one? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to make the same point that I agree with it being that it's not mandatory, and the reasons that we could see someone with malicious intent offering someone a gift every day of the week, and that public record then showing and inferring that there is a relationship between that person and the person who was offered the gift, and I think it should remain with elected members as to and staff as well as to whether they have accepted a gift and then report it, as opposed to not accepting said gift.
Thanks. Oh, no, my screen just turned off. I had a similar question on page, I think it's 16, if I can get my thing back up working. It at the bottom of recommendation 1, it says staff are still required to record it in the system or something similar. So my query is, here we go. However, staff are required to record this information in the city's record keeping systems for future reference. So even if we have not implemented the requirement to disclose gifts that have been declined, as it's not a requirement, which we've discussed, staff are still required to record this information. How will staff know to record this information? Is this just a fact that the emails are kept anyway, so it's kind of there?
Yeah, through the chair, in response to that, officers are required to record their emails and any correspondence in our records management system, which is M-Files, and that is where they would record it. So that's what that means. So outside of the system, into M-Files.
So we don't have any system of catching any of those that are come from, not from email, but from any other avenue?
As in verbal? No,
Yep.
that's correct. No, we don't.
Okay. Any more comments, questions? Okay, are we happy to vote to accept the performance audit report? Yep. Okay, carried. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next item is the Delegated Authority Register Review 26-27. So this is just the delegations register that is kept, and some updates have been done this year. My reading of it is that they are minor updates. So we have the full policy and we have the updates. So the recommendation is to revoke the previous Delegated Authority Register 2025-2026 and all council delegations contained within, and adopt the Delegated Authority Register 2026-2027 and all council delegations contained within as per the attachment. Can I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Van Dawson, and a seconder, please. Councillor Slaughter. Any questions or comments on this one? No? No? Okay. Can we take a vote then to revoke the old delegated authority and adopt the new one? Okay, carried. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the audit actions update for May 2026, and the recommendation on this one is to just council to receive the updated audit actions register as provided in the confidential attachment. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Kamada, and a seconder? Councillor Mofflin. I would just like to comment that we are improving the comments section in this with dated comments. So we're saying that as at June, this is the progress that's been made. So it's pleasing to see that we can see the progress on each of these being made as they're happening. Anyone else have any comments or questions?
Just a question, thanks. And it relates to, it's on page 28. It says that during the period to March 2026, 19 items were still outstanding and no further items have been actioned since that period. So, yeah, just a clarification on why those items are still outstanding and what the steps forward are from there. Thank you.
Through the chair, so that effectively means that since the last audit and risk meeting, during the reporting period up to now, we've been unable to close out any of those actions at the moment due to not completing them. However, we're hoping come the next meeting, we would have made progress on some of those.
Any other comments, questions?
Yes, I just had a comment that I was pleased to see that at least one of the completion dates has been moved forward. Actually, two, I can see. Two of the completion dates have been moved forward. So I'm glad to see that there is progress.
Yes. Okay, so can we move to a vote, please, to receive the audit actions register? Okay, carried. Thank you. The next item is the emerging issues report. Okay, so this report, there is a confidential attachment, but this report is about any emerging issues affecting the city. The recommendation is the council receive the emerging issues report up to May 2026 as detailed in the confidential attachment. Can I have a mover, please? Mayor Lorver and Councillor Slaughter, seconder. Any comments or questions about this one? No? Okay. Can we vote to just receive this report, please? Carried. Thank you. Okay, our next item is the Local Government 2025 Financial Audit Results from the Office of the Auditor General. This is a report which includes Fremantle and a lot of other results. So the recommendation from the officer is the council to receive the information report on the Office of Auditor General's report on Local Government 2025 Financial Audit Results. Mover, please, Councillor Mofflin. And seconder, Councillor Slaughter. I would just like to say on this one, it is pleasing to note that Fremantle was recognised as one of the top 10 best practice entities for Band 1 and 2 for 2024-25. One of only 25 entities recognised sector-wide. So that's a really good vote of confidence to the officers and to the staff at City of Fremantle. So we would like to note that. Any other comments from anyone else? Yes?
Thank you. I'll just echo those sentiments and, yeah, congratulate staff because it's a great recognition of the work that they've put in over a number of years to get to this position. So thank you to staff for doing that. And I think I raised this at a previous council meeting and said it was good to be on the good list and not on the bad list. So thank you for that. And really positive for us to have a sector-wide report as well presented to the committee for us to be able to review and maybe just a request, and I'm sure officers do this as part of their work in looking at those reports when they come out, maybe a little bit of a interpretation of what has been spoken about in that report and how does it particularly apply to Fremantle. Obvious with this one in terms of our good performance on that, but when there are other items, I think it's really positive that we have it here and then for us to understand what the implications are for us and what might be coming down the track.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay, can we take a vote, please, to receive the report? Carried, thank you. Okay, the next item is the audit planning and entrance meeting for the new financial year, 2025 to 26. Can we have a mover, please? Councillor Slaughter, and a seconder, Councillor Kamada. So we had a meeting with this committee, was able to also attend a meeting with the Office of the Auditor General to understand the planning and the process for this audit. We were able to ask questions as needed, so that was helpful. And just noting that it's an ongoing process. We did well last year. It's an ongoing process. We will need to continue, and some of the areas of focus will stay. Some might be slightly different. Any comments or questions from anyone? Yes, Councillor Slaughter.
Following on from the presentation that we had from the auditors, a few items were mentioned that have slightly changed for the upcoming year, and I would just encourage the officers to speak up sooner rather than later if any of the agreed timelines change because of those few changes, so that everyone can be kept abreast of where more time might need to be taken to smooth out any of those changes that were alluded to earlier in the presentation.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, can we vote please to receive the audit planning and entrance meeting? Carried, thank you very much. Okay, our next item is the procurement policy exemptions from March to May. Now, our recommendation is that Council receive the information report on procurement policy exemptions for March to May 2026. Moved Councillor Mofflin, seconder, Councillor Kamada. Any questions or queries on this one? Okay, thank you. We'll take a vote. All those in favour? Thank you, carried. Our next one is the tenders awarded under delegation, March to May 2026. The recommendation is to receive the information report on tenders awarded under delegation for March to May 2026. So can I have someone to move that, please? Councillor Slaughter, and a seconder. Councillor Van Dawson, thank you. Any questions or queries on this one? I'd just like to note the reports are very clear and have all the information to help the committee have a look at it and be quite confident with these things. So that's excellent work. Okay, shall we take a vote, please? All those in favour? Okay, carried. Right. The next item is the overdue debtors report as at May 2026, and the recommendation is that Council receive the overdue debtors report as at 31 May 2026 with the confidential attachments listing overdue debts exceeding 90 days with the combined value by debtor exceeding 10,000. A mover, please. Councillor Van Dawson, and a seconder, please. Councillor Mofflin. Any questions or discussion about this one? No? Okay. Can we take a vote, please, to accept a report? Carried, thank you. Okay. The next one is the Fines Enforcement Registry unrecoverable fines, and the recommendation, Council approves the write-off of the $381,552.86 cents of unrecoverable fines and associated recovery costs. There are schedules which are confidential that are listed to support that amount. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Slaughter, and a seconder? Councillor Van Dawson. Any comments or questions about this, please? Yes.
I just want to say that even though the amount seems to be a lot, during this period we also collected a lot of revenue as well from the FER, Fines Enforcement Registry, and just going through the attachments, one person was almost responsible for 10% of this total amount as well. When you look at the amount, and well over 80% of the costs incurred were the fees and charges. So the initial fines were way less than 20%. So when we're looking at this amount, the fines themselves are a really small portion of this. A lot of it is just the fees and charges to try and collect them. But just wanted to point that out.
Yep. Any other questions or comments? Okay, can we vote on that, please? All in favour? Carried. Thank you. Now, the next item is the Local Emergency Management Committee update. So it's the attachments are some minutes and the arrangements, and the recommendation is to receive the Local Emergency Management Committee minutes for February 2026 and endorse the city's local emergency management arrangements. Can I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Kamada, and seconder, Councillor Mofflin. Are there any questions or queries about these minutes? No? Okay, can we vote to receive these items, please? All in favour? Thank you, carried. All the other items, no legal, reputation and brand, no motions. Any urgent business that anyone wants to raise? Any late items? And so I can declare the meeting closed at 6:29 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.